Up until this point, duration has not been introduced to Finn for any command. The place command is where we will introduce duration to Finn and also introduce the concept to you in training with a live dog. So Finn's rules on this place bed is to not touch the ground with his paws. I do not mind if his nose goes over and sniffs the ground. I do not mind if his tail hangs off and touches the ground. The only thing I care about are his paws staying on the bed, not touching the ground. Secondly, I ensure he remains in a down when he's on the place bed. At the beginning of duration, we are going to increase the time in between payments slowly and steadily. Place. Repeat the command, reach in your pouch and pay, confirming to him that this is what we are asking. He's already in position of the command we are requesting. We confirm that for him by saying it and paying. Place. So Finn's doing really well. I'm gonna move him up to 5 seconds. Place. Good. Free. We don't want to overwhelm him and make it too stressful and too difficult. We want him to have these wins. So what I did was I reset the repetition. Once we got to the 5-second mark, it was pretty easy for him. Good boy. Yep. And he wants to do some more. So now we're going to work from the 5-second mark to the 10-second mark for our first milestone. Place. Good boy. Place. That was 7 seconds. This is pretty easy for him. We'll go for the full 10. Good. Place. Wait. So he's got duration down. We are well past the minute mark and I still haven't even introduced distance. So let's do that. You guys are going to be able to see what that looks like in real time with this boy right here. What we're going to do is we're going to start small. Place. Good. That movement was going to draw him with me. So I'm setting him up for success and I'm only doing these baby steps. This next one, I'm going to move my left foot with me. Place. No. Place. Place. Good. Repeat the exact same repetition that he previously failed, showing him the clear difference between failed repetition, successful repetition, with a difference in outcome. Now, guys, keep in mind, I'm giving him very light corrections. He's not a hard dog. He understands that that little pop is me communicating with him. That's not what I'm looking for. We do not, no, place. Just like that, I barely popped him. He does not need to have a crank on this leash for him to understand what I'm conveying. Place. Good. Place. Good. Place. Good boy. Good job, buddy. Good boy. And you can see he's starting to settle down. He's shuffling a little bit less. He's starting to pick up the game here. Place. No. Good. Place. Good job, Bubba's. Yeah. And notice how I pay for place down on his level. I don't want to pay up here because that's going to motivate your dog to pop up and meet you halfway for that payment. And that's going to lead to a correction. And then that's going to abort the payment. We don't want to confuse him. So every single time I pay on place, in the very, very beginning, I put my hand right up against the actual mat and have them eat out of it. Or I put it right on the mat. Just keep in mind, if you put it directly on the bed, the flex of the fabric might roll the kibble or the treats down under your dog, and that sometimes causes more shuffling, and they get up to get those kibbles, so it can set them up for failure as well. That's why I prefer right out of hand for this very, very gentle grazer. Place. Good. When I return to Finn, I do not put my hand into this treat pouch until I'm actually back. If he sees me put my hand in my treat pouch as I'm walking back, especially earlier on when he's building this skill, that is a distraction. He's anticipating payment. He's gonna pop up and try to get to you. So do your best to not put your hand into your treat pouch as you walk back. Wait until you return to your dog. Place. Good. So we did 3 seconds there. I'll bump it up to 5 seconds next rep. Place. Good. Good choice, buddy. Big payment. Right here, Bubs. Right here. Good boy. Place. We're going for the full 10 seconds here. Good boy. Free. So he just received, like, I don't know, maybe 15 corrections while he was on there. But look how much he loves this bed. Guys, training is so fun for your dog. It's so mentally stimulating and rewarding. And if you do it right, you get this. A dog that wants to train. He loves the tools. As long as you are conducting fair training with your dog, they're gonna love it just like this. Place. We're gonna add distraction. Good. And that distraction was me walking with my back towards him. That is the first time he has had to remain in place with my back towards him. So with me walking, that's distraction and creating distance, with my back towards him, and he stayed in place, that was incredible. A lot of dogs would break with that. Place. I'm gonna have to do a session with another dog that doesn't do so well so you guys can see how often you might actually have to correct your dog. Place. Good. He's doing good with distractions. We'll add a little bit of distance. Place. All right, that was the 3 foot mark. I'm going all the way to the 6 on this next one. He seems to be doing this very well. Place. It definitely helps that we did a little bit of healing beforehand. No. Place. No. Place. No. Place. Good job, buddy. So he just really struggled with that one. And you saw how I had to repeat the same exact repetition 3 times in a row. Each time he got closer and closer to the correct behavior and figuring out that he needed to stay in place. But that final one he did, and we confirm with payment. showing him the clear difference. Boy. So let's test that. If he does it perfectly, I'm going to jackpot it, give him a pay party, and then I'm going to put him up. Place. Good job, Bubba's. Oh, yeah. Good job. Good job. The reason that I did not mark with Y and explode into a big energetic pay party is because I am trying to help him build some self-control, impulse control, an off switch. I do not want him to anticipate a pay party with like explosive energy when he's in this state of mind. I want to encourage this state of mind, so my reward is going to reflect this state of mind. We're having a nice quiet party. Nice quiet party. Lights out by 10. Free. He don't want to. This is fun for him. Even though he just received 3 corrections in a row, this dog wants to keep doing this. And that's why training's so good, huh, Bubbas? Let's go. This coming session, we are going to continue Finn through duration, distance, and distraction. We're going to be working past that 6-foot distance that leash restricts us to. So we're moving to a long line. This is a 50-footer. It's a bit excessive for this training area, but this is the only one I have on me right now. When you're doing this in your training area, remember, a nice, calm, neutral environment. I would imagine you're not doing this in a big gymnasium or a big training facility. And I would imagine you're not doing it outside for introducing this type of skill because it's difficult. So keeping it in a baseline environment like your training lab, you're only going to need such a big leash. So 15 feet should be fine to start. This is where leash handling skills are going to come into more play. Manipulating this long line is not as easy as manipulating a 6-foot leash. I'm sure you could understand why. There's a lot more tool here to manage. We're going to pretend this is attached to our dog. And I just want to show you a little bit of the leash handling skills that you need to keep in mind and practice during these exercises. As we're going, we are going to let the rope slip through our hands as we create distance with our dogs. So whether you're walking forward or backwards, it doesn't matter. Let the rope slide gently through your hands. Notice how I'm keeping it off the ground. I do not want it on the ground because our dogs, if they do get up and move, they are likely going to step over the leash, and that is going to cause a weird amount of pressure. If it is under their armpit, we will not be able to apply pressure correctly or corrections in general. It's time to go back and pay our dog. How are we going to do that while keeping this leash off the ground? We're not wrapping it up. We are not doing this, okay? Because this is how you get a very tangled leash over a few reps of trying to manage while looping the leash. All you're going to do is slide it through your hand as you work your way back to your dog. It doesn't matter if you're using your left hand or your right hand. You're still able to slide this the same way, all right? Whatever you got to do, just let it slide through your hand as you're going back and forth. This skill is also going to come into play when you're working recalls on a long line in the future as you develop the recall skill. I'm sure you can imagine that feeding this leash through your hand is more difficult during the recall because the dog is running at you very motivated at a quick pace, and it's hard to keep up with that. So practicing during this place training, when your dog is in position and you're doing duration, distance, and distraction, it's going to give you a lot more practice with your dog in place, making it easier for you to learn this skill. All right, I'm gonna go get Finn, get the session started. All right, he's on the long line. So we're gonna make it easy for him. Place. Good, Bubs. Place. Good boy. Place. Good boy. Good job, Bubba's. Yeah. Yep, he's not feeling the kibble right now, so we'll just make his reward petting. Place. Good. All right, he's brushed up. It did not take long at all. We are going to move into increasing his ability. Place. Good. No. Down. Place. Good boy. Place. Create a little bit more distance. All the other criteria goes down. Good boy. So we just created that distance. I'm going to add a little bit of duration to that distance. Place. Good. Place. Increase duration a little bit at this distance before I add in distraction. Guys, keep in mind, you do not need to do this exactly step by step as I do it. Just follow the general rules I've been giving you, and you'll be absolutely fine. Make sure that you are increasing and decreasing criteria appropriately. You're not taking too big of steps. But you don't have to have the exact same milestones as me and all that. Place. No. Place. Good. Place. I'm going to add in a little bit more of a distraction here. And this is surprisingly a big distraction. I'm just going to sit in this chair and see how he does. Good. Good job. I'm going to make this a really good pay. Nice pets. Make him know he did a good job. Because he did. He's doing very well. Good boy, Finn. Place. No. Place. Good job, Bubba. Place. A little bit of duration. Less intense distraction because I increased duration. Another distraction you can do as your dog's getting better and better is move away from him faster. Place. He's a rock star. Great job. Now here's a real test. Place. Good job, Bubba. You're so good. Place. Free. Place. Good. Place. Good. He almost broke there. Punked me out a little bit. I thought he was going to. So me just moving back and forth like this is a distraction. Good. Place. Good. 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 That probably destroyed y'all's eardrums, but my bad. All right, we are really about to test his ability here. I'm going to go out, lay on the ground, and if he does not break, he is going to get a big payday jackpot, and we're gonna end the session. If he does break position, I will carry out a correction sequence and repeat the exact repetition again. Place. Good. Good job, Bubba. Big payday. Oh yeah, Bubs, yes. And just so we can see all this food, I want him to see. He's probably not even gonna eat it all, but he's registering how much I'm giving him. He understands how valuable of a reward this is. Good boy, Bubba. So let's work on increasing Milo's fluency through the duration, distance, and distraction portion of the Ds. Right here, I'm going to use a long line for this. This gives me 100% control if he does break, but keep in mind, this is going to take leash management skills. So, place. I need to let this run through my hands as I move. Good. And reel it back in as I return. Good, you goofy boy. Place. Good. Reel it back in. We want to keep this off the ground so the dog does not step over it. That way, whatever type of correction you are applying, it's not going to be tainted from being under his armpit if he steps over it. Keep the leash off the ground. Place. Good. Increase that criteria with a little bit of duration to that distance. Good. Good. Place. No. Place. If you're going to do that, make sure it is not within reach of your dog. If they get that treat before you correct them, they are going to turn into bigger gamblers with this, and they're going to go for it. Show them that they're going to get it anyway after they do it correctly. Why break position if you're going to give it to them anyway, right? Good boy. Place. Keep in mind, me walking away from him like this with my back towards him is a heavier distraction than me walking backwards. If your dog is having a hard time with this, make sure you are walking backwards with your face towards him. It'll help them stay there until they get fluent enough to where you can turn your back to them. Let's add in a little bit of distraction with this distance. Good. Watch that paw, bud. You're going to accidentally step off. Good boy. Place. Good. No. Place. Place. Good. Intensify the distractions. Good. He's really starting to get in the swing of things and really accelerate through the program. It took him 2.5 weeks, but now that he's there, he's starting to put the pieces together. Good boy. Place. And if you do start adding walking away from your dog with your back to them, make sure you do not start with going to the exact distance that you were previously walking with your face towards them. So if I'm usually walking this distance with my face towards them, and I want to start advancing them to the point where I'm walking away from them with my back towards them, I'm not going to just walk and expect him to let me go all the way over here with my back towards him and succeed. He won't. Set them up for success, not failure. It would look more like, boy, place, good. Place, good, Bubbas. Place, little by little, guys. Never forget that baby steps always applied in this training. At this point, you guys get the picture. Use distractions that are likely to be in your household. If your kids are in there, when your dog starts getting proficient, have your kids be light distractions, but only if they are good participants in the training process. If they are intentionally trying to get your dog to fail, do not involve the children. And keep in mind, when you do increase distractions, like to the level of children running around playing, and the dog wants to be part of it, bring that criteria down, start all the way back at the bed. Do not go to the stage that he's advanced to without that distraction. Adding something that intense requires you to decrease criteria. And the cool thing about this yard is that there are dogs all of the time. This is a private training yard, but it's also open to members who have a dog park membership. I do not let anybody in here when I'm doing training. I don't even let them go across that fence line, so that way there's no crazy distractions. But even though there are not dogs visually present over there, I guarantee you there is plenty of odor out here, plenty of distraction. The cars are passing on the road. He can see the dogs in the outdoor kennel runs over there on that side of the fence. I would say they're about 75 meters away. So that is outside of his bubble, the threshold that would make him be very distracted. So it's a nice intro to a distraction, but it's not too intense. These odors are enough for me to have to work against already, especially being outside. Place. Now, like we've done earlier in the training program, I hold my dogs accountable for a DOWN on the place bed. But there's nuance in dog training. Milo has terrible hips, terrible joints. So I do not require him to do that. He is much more comfortable in a standing position. Good. Place. Good. I'm not going to do all that distance that I would have inside because that would be too intense. He would 100% follow me off this bed. Place. And notice how I'm not turning my back to him. Good. Increasing the duration a little bit there. Good boy. Place. He wants to sit down and relax, but it hurts him. Good. So let's see. Place. Good. He wanted to step. He did not. I immediately returned. Place. Good. Place. No. Place. Good. Yes. Good job, bub. Good job. Slowly working your way to the point that you were at in the previous environment. Free. Duration, distance, and distraction. It's going to apply to all of the commands when it comes to heel, recall, duration, distance, and distraction. You can increase all of these things. For the recall, how far are they willing to come from you, right? How many distractions are they going to recall past toys? These are all skills that you can work on and coach your dog through. The SIT and the DOWN, you build duration the same way that we have been with the place bed. I'd give you some examples, but I do not hold him accountable for duration in the SIT because of his hips. A dog park member did just come in over there, so this is going to be much more difficult for him. All right, let's make him work. Place. No. Place. You can see that distraction right there is very intense for him, to the point where he didn't even really hear me say the command. Place. Good. Good. Let's see if we can work him back to the full 50 feet with the distraction across the dog park. He is very well aware of that dog over there right now. So we're going to use it to our advantage. Place. No. Place. Place. Good. Place. Good. We are at the full 50 feet plus the foot of the collar. Good. I'm jackpotting, and we're going to call it a session. Good. Good job. And we're going to have a play session. Free! Woo-hoo-hoo! Good job, Bubs. Good job. Good. As you progress your dog through duration, distance, and distraction, and you help him gain fluency further and further, increase the intensity of each one very methodically and very intelligently. Do your best to go into a training situation with a plan, especially when you are leaving that baseline environment that you started all of this training in. Control your environment to the best of your ability. There are going to be times when that cannot happen, such as the dog coming into the park. That can complicate things. So when that kind of stuff happens, keep it in mind, keep an eye on your environment, and adjust accordingly.